Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's TGFF Gameday SEC Weekly Preview. This segment is brought to you by Pepsi. Whether you're gearing up for game day, hanging out with friends, or just needing that perfect refreshing break, nothing hits the spot quite like an ice-cold Pepsi. Bold, crisp, and always refreshing. Pepsi is the taste that fuels the moment. So crack open a Pepsi and enjoy some SEC football. Well, this week, it's a little bit of an off week. There's some bye weeks for a couple of teams, but we're going to cover three of the main games for you here this week. All right, first off, we're going to start with a game that's normally the game of the week in the SEC, but this week it is not. It's probably the third best game in the SEC this week. And it is number 5 Georgia at Florida in Jacksonville, all right, for the world's largest cocktail party. God love the SEC football, and God love rivalries like Florida and Georgia. But this one's got a little bit of an extra tinge to it. This one has a lot of questions for Florida this week, and I'm going to pose a couple of them here to you. One, does Florida get an emotional boost after the firing of Billy Napier? They won last week at Mississippi State, and they lose their coach. Their coach gets fired. So, do they pick up a little bit of an emotional boost by that? Maybe so. It's just too bad that they get number 5 Georgia. All right. Can DJ Lagaway, can he find a way to score enough points to overtake Georgia? But the real key here is going to be, can Florida's defense stop Georgia's offense, especially the run game? You're looking at like one of the top running teams in the country right now in Georgia against one of the worst defenses in the world. Or in the country right now with Florida. Can they stop that? I don't think so. Another top of this, can Florida win away from Gainesville? Probably not. They haven't won a game outside of Gainesville this year except against an FCS team. So not being in Gainesville, it being Georgia, coming off the firing of their coach. Their wide receivers coach is now their head coach. They have a new play caller. I don't know if they get a big enough boost from this. I'm taking Georgia by more than 20 points in this one. This cocktail party is going to get over quickly and very early. All right, so Bulldogs win this one big. Next, we're going to cover number 18 Oklahoma at number 14 Tennessee. Tennessee is a 3-point favorite in this one, being at home at Rocky Top. But this is where it's going to come down to, can Tennessee's defense and Oklahoma's offense? Tennessee's defense right now is ranked number 114th in the country in scoring defense. They're giving up over 30 points a game. All right. Oklahoma's offense has been really good the last few weeks, especially with Mateer getting healthier and healthier. I don't know that they can stop Oklahoma's offense. But on that same boat, Tennessee's offense is really, really good. They're ranked 2nd in the country in scoring at over 45 points a game. Oklahoma's defense in that same boat is ranked 6th in the country, only giving up 12.5 points a game. Which one gives here? All right. I think Tennessee's offense overtakes Oklahoma's defense at home. I think Aguilar is a better overall quarterback than Mateer is. I think Mateer is better with his feet. Aguilar's the better quarterback here. Which quarterback of the two will command their offense better and try to score points? Okay. I do think Tennessee gets a little bit of a boost being at home, but this is going to be a shootout. This is going to be Tennessee by a field goal. It might be 63-60, but it's going to be Tennessee by a field goal at home. You want to see lots of points for all you soccer haters out there. You want to see lots of points? Watch this game. This is going to be a big one. It's going to be Tennessee by a field goal, I believe. But I think the over. You take the over. I don't care what the number is. Take the over in this one. There's going to be a lot of points. All right. And the third and last game we're going to cover is the game of the week, and I think it could be the best game of any of them so far this year, and that's number 9 Vanderbilt coming off a big win over Mizzou. They ranked inside the top 10 for the first time, probably the first time since like the 40s. All right. And they're playing really well behind Diego Pavia and Clark Lee. They're going to Darrell Royal Stadium to take on number 20 Texas, who is finding their footing a little bit after having an inconsistent start to the season. Texas is a 3-point favorite at home on this one. That surprised me a little bit when I saw that, but Texas is a 3-point favorite. Now, I looked at the stats between Pavia and Arch Manning, and they're very similar. Pavia has more running yards than Arch, but Arch has more passing yards. The touchdowns, interceptions are about the same. All right. I think the Arch Manning has started to kind of figure things out a little bit and having a consistent season. I just think that everybody had a little bit higher expectations for him than what they had for Diego Pavia. So they're looking at their 2 years a little bit differently, especially with Pavia being in the Heisman talk. But the stats are fairly similar. And I think even Manning has a better completion percentage than Diego Pavia does. So we're going to see some really good types of things here between both these quarterbacks. They're matched statistically. Vandy's offense is ranked number 9 in the country, and Texas's defense is ranked number 10 in the country. Texas's defense has been really good this year. I think Texas has played a tougher schedule, which some of those things, I think, when you're talking about losses and things like that. But which quarterback shows up to play? People were trying to figure out how to keep Diego Pavia from kind of running rampant all over places like he did in the first few weeks of the season. I really think Mizzou gave the book to some other schools on how to keep Diego Pavia in check. They kept him in the pocket. They forced him to use his arm. He didn't have the best week last week, even though they got the win. But I think Texas, who has a really, really, really good defense, saw what Mizzou did, and I think they're going to be able to take that another step further and further keep Diego Pavia in check. So this one was a tough one for me. There won't be anywhere near as many points as there were in the Oklahoma-Tennessee game. But I think Texas pulls the upset here. Texas beats Vanderbilt 28-24. That's my prediction on the game. Just a 4-point win, probably in a fourth quarter touchdown drive led by Arch Manning, keeping up his Manning name. But he's been better this year in the last couple of weeks, and I expect to see them continue to keep that going. So 3 games you should look out for. Georgia winning big over Florida. Tennessee beating Oklahoma in a barn burner of a massive amount of points, probably over 100 in that game. My prediction, there might be over 100 points in that game total. And I think Texas gets the upset over Vanderbilt at home on November 1st. So I hope you enjoyed this week. Come look back next week for another look into this week in the SEC. Have a great day, everybody.
Brought to you by Off the Rails Media. Life's more fun when you're off